are now walking in the Hurts world. You are now walking into Hurts world. Aye.
Discussion that we need to hear. Topics they be scared to touch. Parties say we do too much. Hurt, I think they scared of us. Meaning this is filled with hits. How you turned up like a jit. You are now in Hurt's world. If you love her, had your chick. You are now in Hurt's world.
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 And y'all know how we do. It's me, the Big Hurt, and you tuned in to Hurt's World, man. Season 4, episode 15. I'm thinking season finale, but maybe not. I'll figure it out throughout the week. We may go season 5. We may keep season 4 going. Who knows? But anyway, man, you're listening to Hurt's World. Just want to give a special shout out to my guests from last week. Keisha VTM and Kayani of Hair and Skin Company for both coming through, kicking it with me, giving y'all the business tips and tricks that they gave y'all. Make sure y'all, if nothing else, support small business. They will not be the last time you'll hear those ladies. I think what we're going to actually end up doing is maybe do like a small business panel and getting a couple other small business owners to come on and just kind of chop it up and, give us some more tips and tricks and things things and tricks of the trade is what I want to say. On how to, start your business and, how to rebrand or revamp or, if it's time to just cut ties, how do you do stuff like that? So, stay tuned for more of that. Y'all know I like to be open and honest with y'all. So, your boy got COVID last week. Didn't think that shit was like for real. Like I thought we was out of the woods with that COVID shit. But no, COVID is still here. It is still real. And your boy got COVID. So was quarantined with my youngest daughter. And I am so happy to be out of my master bedroom and able to walk around the house. Because you never really understand, how you explain it. You never really understand. Like you never really miss outside until you can't go nowhere. But this one room and a bathroom, for like 4 or 5 days. So, if you didn't get a shot, go get a vaccine, go get a booster. COVID's real. And you may want to start wearing a mask again because most definitely you're still here. So protect yourself and all that good stuff. But your boy is fully recovered, and I'll be wearing my mask when I'm around y'all for a minute because I don't like being sick and I don't want to be quarantined no more. But we're gonna go to break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back with more Hurt's World. Welcome back to Hurt's World. I am your girlfriend's favorite podcast host, Big Hurt. And if she says I'm not, that hoe a liar. And man, this week we just gonna shoot the shit. We got some, I don't want to say some new blood, because one of the people y'all have heard from before. She's just coming back in a different capacity. And then the other person, he's new, but he new to y'all. He ain't new to me. He know a couple secrets that he probably shouldn't know. And then I think way back when we may have liked the same girl. Not in the not like no Usher or R. Kelly same girl, but maybe the same girl. I don't remember. We'll figure it out. But I'm gonna shut up and let them come on mute and introduce themselves. We're gonna get straight into it. So y'all come off mute. Tell the people who you are.
Hey everybody, it is Kay from around the way. I missed y'all.
Hey, how y'all doing? This is King Leo Chicago, man. Coming to y'all. Let's get into it, man.
Kay and King Leo, man. Kay, welcome back. Was really thought K wasn't gonna come back because K was like, you know, I don't know, hurt. I be kind of, I'm kind of done with that podcast stuff. But I was like, man, just come on. The people need to hear you. They miss your opinions and they miss your points of views and they love it. So I appreciate you coming back.
Oh, well, it is good to be back. I wasn't gonna come back, but you made it kind of hard to stay away.
Oh, I feel so appreciated. And King Leo, man, we go back what second, third grade, maybe.
Yeah, man. That's it. It's about to be 3 decades, bro.
Man, so I met King James Memorial.
Yeah.
So if you in Chicago and y'all know you lived in Maywood, Bellwood, y'all know where James Memorial is.
Yeah. Hey, a lot of people don't know we had one of our superiors, I guess you can kind of classify it as,
Yeah,
was Ramsey Lewis's sister, bro. A lot of people don't know that.
I didn't know that either.
Pastor Jackson,
Whoa, for real?
that was his sister, G.
Wow.
Mind you, we went to school also with this well, we went to church with this guy named Cosign. All right, if y'all ever on Google, y'all look up the interns. He don't work with Diddy. Like if I could pull up the list when I tell you he don't work and list some of the songs we listen to on an everyday basis and have been listened to for like the last past 10 years, he's more than likely produced or did some type of production on it. And it's crazy. It's crazy that we was all a part of that, G. You feel me?
What he slight doing is name dropping on y'all real fast and
Yeah, a little bit,
just
a
a
little
little
bit.
bit, so
But that's a part of history though, because
it
we all
is
linked in. We all linked in.
most deaf.
We all linked in.
I kind of teased that like back in like I want to say it's like third grade. I think we liked the same girl, maybe.
Hold on, is this same girl? I can't say her name, but I can say the initial. You talking about P?
LB.
Oh, I give you that. I give you that.
Okay.
I
Okay.
give you that. I give you that.
Okay. Now, if she ever hears this, it was all love, and we're both happily. One of us is married, i.e., King,
Yeah,
and one of us is in a very fulfilling relationship.
yeah,
But it was and see, when you was little, you was like, it wasn't no beef. We was kind of like, oh, I like LB. It's like I like her too. And
yeah,
then one of us ended up going with her, and it was like, oh, okay. And then I found somebody else, and it was
yeah.
kind of like one of them grade school things.
We call them
What?
experiences. You heard me?
Right? We ain't fight over girls when we was little. There was too many of them.
Yeah,
So, but no, before we came on, you were talking a little bit about your weight loss journey. So, man, tell the people, what that's been like. You say, over the last like 9 months.
yeah. So, all right. January 5th, 2023. I was diagnosed with diabetes. All right. So, um, in collaboration with some dietitians and some nurses and some health officials, pretty much trying to get me back on the right track. So I took it upon myself with the help of my wife and decided to change some things, bro. And when I tell you change some things, really change some things. And I just kept telling myself I don't want to be on this medication forever. So would I tell you slight things like eliminating sugar, eliminating starches, beans, rice, pastas, and it don't have to be for an extended period of time, but long enough for your body to kill those dead cells and eliminate those dead cells through the elimination process. You feel me? And that way you have a chance to kind of revitalize yourself. Every 72 hours that you don't have bad stuff in your body rebuilds itself every 72 hours. So the more junk, you feel me, you put in, like you think of it like a water filter. All right. If it's so much bad stuff in the water, eventually that filter is gonna get bad. All right. Think of the filter as your liver. There's no physical way for me and you to cleanse our liver, so that's why water is important to keep flushing it. You feel me? I know people that drink zero water, and I try to understand how that same expression. How I don't know. People do it though, because with this heat, I don't know how the temperature has been where y'all at. But when I got in my car today, it said 114, and I almost got back out and went in the house.
Bruh, where are you?
I am in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, bro.
Oh, fuck that. I mean, it's hot in Memphis, but it ain't like 114 hot.
What?
And
Hey, I got people up there, man. Cordova.
and I'm in Florida, so it's definitely a different kind of heat than I'm used to. Every
Yeah,
day the sun tries to prove a point.
yeah. And sometimes, hey, when I tell you, that's another thing. When you trying to get into a workout regimen, bro, and I try to tell everybody because I know at least six of my close homies that I do business with, they dealing with the same issues, but some people will make that excuse about, oh, it's too hot, it's too this, it's too that. But you got to think about it, man. Every day, and this is what got me. Every day you don't do something about what your situation has, what you got going on, you taking away from yourself. Every single day. You feel me? Just by just 30 minutes. 30 minutes. We talking about a sitcom. You can be watching Martin and you could be watching whoever on TV and doing something that adds 7 years to your life. That adds
Right.
7 years. Something just as simple as that. Add 7 years to your life. And that's just one benefit aside from all the, we can go on and on about the medicinal benefits about vitamins and stuff like that. Those are all good, but just natural flushing water, 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 water. Like, man, and you don't need a salad to lose weight. I'm gonna tell people that right now. I gotta say that. All right, because a lot of people don't know about the starch in leafy vegetables. All right, the more starch you consume, that could go against you. That starch is what sits from in your midsection around your belly button. That starch that's hard to get rid of. People are load up on salads and think they're eating healthy and they doing themselves a disservice. Also with smoothies, all right, it's a point system with eating fruits and stuff like that. All right, let's take a banana. All right, you put a banana in a blender, that's 8 points. All right, because it takes so much for our body to break down a smoothie. All right, you got to think about it. If you can eat one apple and be satisfied, how many apples do you have to put in a smoothie to make a smoothie?
Hmm.
It's not one. It's not one.
I never thought about it like that.
And that's where you multiply your intake. Because if I gotta take 8 apples to make one smoothie, that's not helping me.
That makes a lot of sense.
You
It
feel me? Because
does.
everybody thinks, oh, I can go get a smoothie and I can just and they doing they self a disservice. You can ask that same person how many pounds they lost in the next 6 months, and they'll probably have told you they gained weight.
Because they got to put all that extra
Yeah,
stuff in there, like the
you taking all of that extra sugar in. The average smoothie king, you know what I'm saying, smoothie, we talking about at least 30 grams of sugar. That's the same amount that you can get out of a 16-ounce Coca-Cola.
hmm.
You see what I'm saying? People don't realize how much like that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You see that box, that white outline box? You have to
Yeah.
read that like the Bible. You feel me? That will help you. You feel me?
Man, we ain't been talking for 10 minutes, and he's dropping fucking knowledge already, man.
Yeah, you need to get
Um,
like a toot offline, like a little tutorial.
yeah. So like, I've been on this weight loss thing, for a minute, And so I've actually had sleep apnea where I had to sleep with the mask, and I had to go for like the whole sleep study. Um, no longer have to wear a mask.
It's good.
So I can sleep normal. Um, trying to get off this diabetes medicine. But my biggest thing, and I tell anybody and everybody, like, man, like working out, that's easy for me. Like, I can go to the gym and kill myself and whatever. Like, I put up weight. It's not an issue for me. My biggest issue is, I think what everybody's biggest issue is what to eat, how much of it to eat, portion control,
Yep.
things like that. So that's been my focus, here lately. Like, okay, so like, yeah, I'm working out, yeah, I'm seeing the results, but how can I kick it into overdrive? Like, how can I, not eat this, but still be, have enough energy to burn off this, or, like you was talking about Coke. Like,
Yeah.
I don't really, if we're gonna be 100, I don't really drink anything other than water and Coke. And the reason I really drink Coke is because I like Hennessy and Bacardi.
Yeah.
So if I can stop drinking Hennessy and Bacardi, I could probably start drinking Coke. Um, but that's my thing. Like, I know, like with keto, you can have like vodka and tequila and stuff like that because there's like
Yeah.
no calories in it.
Yeah.
I don't like clear liquor, so
Yeah.
I don't know. I gotta find, it's all about finding balance and what works for you. Like, if you out there and you listening and you want to, start this, like O said, just start. Just, if nothing else, just start.
And
And
I
then
think,
two, go ahead, Kay.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I think also not even just finding out what works for you, finding out what's working against you, because not everybody's the same. Not everybody's body reacts the same to certain things. And I know as a woman, my weight has gone up and down over the years, and I had to realize some of the things that was causing my weight to go up and down. And as women, we do other things that kind of puts weight on us, like my ladies with birth control and
Yeah.
hormonal things. And it's just it's not it's all about finding what works for you, but in order to do that you have to find out what it is working against you too.
Yeah.
So
Anatomically, men have the advantage when it comes to weight loss. You feel me? Because women's bodies are composed of more fat than our bodies are. So when it comes down to break, like just like I was saying, a diet change, and this don't, and it, even with consulting with my nurses and dietitians, this doesn't mean like when you, it doesn't matter what type of like pastas and stuff, like you can get any type of pastas and beans, because guess what, the carbohydrates that you're going to ingest from those pastas, no matter if it's chickpea, if it's lentil, if it's saying like a noodle base, I mean an egg base, you're going to consume those same about 45-50 carbohydrates anyway. That's going to turn the fat, that's going to turn the sugar, I mean that's going to turn the sugar and turn the fat anyway. You feel me? So it's just about, like you were saying earlier, portion control. If you get a foot long from Subway, that should be 4 meals for you. You should be able to eat off a 6 inch twice. Drink some water. The water is just a filler to make you get the sensation of feeling full.
mhm.
Because that's the issue sometimes when we get between that 25 and 35 range, that sensation of feeling full kind of goes away for us. And sometimes we supersede that. So if you just think about this, all right? If you supersede your portions every single day for 5 years, all right? And I say 5 years, so we round that at about maybe like 1,500 days, all right? Like say for you, hurt you drink a Coke, 1,500 days, G. You do 1,500 days times 26 grams of sugar. So you almost put like 50 pounds, 75 pounds of sugar in your body voluntarily.
Wow.
And that's how you got to break the numbers down. You got to break the numbers down in multi-annual digits. You see what I'm saying? Because that's the only way it's gonna make sense. Just like money, if you spend $10 every day in a month, man, that's $300 in a month. That's 300 and that's $3,300 a year that you done spent just down the drain. Just down the drain. So it's real important when you moving towards a goal, and it's really important to just set a goal. Once you set a goal, you follow it, you conquer it, you set another one that's a little bit higher, a little bit more intense, because you know, I get it, people want to start, and I encourage people to do this, but walking, in my personal opinion, all right, walking is not an exercise. And
You're gonna do that anyway.
I'm gonna tell you, yeah, because just think, everybody, we've spent 3-4 decades on this earth walking. That's a muscle memory. That's no longer. Everybody can pick up a baby. A baby ain't nothing. You know what I'm saying? That's muscle memory, because it's not something that our bodies aren't used to. It's not difficult. It's not challenging. You feel me? Getting up out the bed, using the abdominal muscles to get up out your bed. That can be an exercise, but it's not, because it's not something that you're stretching your body out on doing. Squatting down to pick something off the ground. You know what I'm saying? Or doing something. You feel me? Stuff like that. You gotta, like, a lot of people are afraid to challenge themselves, but don't know, like, it'll take you to the next level if you let it. Like, real talk.
Dropping fucking knowledge, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, real talk, life experience. This is, when I tell you, I wouldn't believe it myself if I didn't have to go through it in such a manner that I had to go through it. It's crazy.
So, before you, like you say, you were saying the sleep apnea. How important was it to you to have somebody to go through this with? Because, like, I know some of the excuses that people make is, oh, well, I need somebody to do it with me, or I need somebody to push me. Like, yeah, that's cool. And if you got that person, great. Like, I got a nice little village, that motivates and pushes me. But talk about how important it was for you to have somebody saying, hey, I'm going to do this with you, or I'm going to support you in your decision.
Well, I have to say, man, it's like the beginning part, just like somebody starting a business, it's hard in the beginning. You gotta really mentally put it in your mind, like, this is what I'm doing and I have to complete it, because it's easy to say no, bro. It's real easy to say no. And, like, you can always find something else to do. You can always find something else to do. But when you think about it, like I was saying, in that multi-year annual thinking, okay, well, if I wait this long, then this happens, or if I don't do this, this happens. You feel me? You gotta kind of have a checks and balances about that. So with having somebody that's gonna be there right next to your side, you have to know, all right, there's a limited amount of help that I'm gonna get from this person. All right, because ultimately I have to be the one that has to help motivate the person that's motivating me. Because if I don't want to motivate, if I don't motivate myself, they're not going to be willing to help me. You see what I'm saying? So the more I put into myself, the more they're willing to put into me. And just having that comfort level it's amazing. Now, at the end of the day, you have to be willing to do it by yourself. That's another thing. Is creating that mental capacity. Is like, if they're not around, if they're not here, can I still do it? And that's where the change is made. That's my dog. My wife just made it home. But yeah, that's where the change is made, when you can get up and be like, all right, well, I got this to do. I got that to do. That just have it. Hey. We know. But just having that confidence, and just having that that space in your mind, knowing like you can do it, and you got the support system to do it. That's like just motivation within itself, and that helps you push further because it's like, man, like, all right, in my situation, like you said, I'm married, so I'm the protector of my family. So at all, I want to make sure I'm healthy enough. I want to make sure I'm sharp enough. I want to make sure I'm fast enough, strong enough. You feel me to be what I can be for my family, and that's like the focal point that I would stress for anybody. When you have somebody with you, that person more than likely is going to be the person that you're protecting if you're a man, or you're going to be protected by the person that's helping you if you're a woman. You see what I'm saying? And you have to really have a 100% trust level with that person. And a lot of people not real with themselves about what's going on. They not honest with themselves. We live in this facade about what things could be. You feel me? And not what things actually are. And that's where the volatility comes, because people that think like they somebody else, and they really, oh well. I love the confidence some people have, but some people take it out of context.
And sometimes it's even ignorance. Like, I know
Yeah,
a lot of us look at our ages, or we look at just different factors, and we think certain stuff can't happen to us, and we
yeah,
don't realize how close to it we are. You know what
yeah.
I'm saying?
I feel like you just called me old, bro. You just called me
Hey,
old.
No,
we
one just
we
called you young because
we
people.
seasoned. That's what it's called, seasoned, man.
I'm not saying I'm marinating. Okay,
You
I'm
okay?
marinating.
You marinate.
I'm
Okay, I like
marinating.
that.
Yeah,
Well, I don't know. I think I'm a little younger than you heard, but I think I'm past season. I got my seasoning early. I'm marinating now.
Mm, well,
I'm
let's
a
see.
slow cook. But no, I was calling you young. I'm saying, like, some of us take that for granted, that we think, oh, we're not up in age yet, or we're not, you know what I'm saying? Like, certain things can't happen to us, not knowing that, it's 15, 17 year olds dropping dead and
yeah,
suspected to be completely healthy. And we do abuse. I'm speaking for myself, like, just with the weight thing, I eat in small portions. I just naturally, the older I got, the less I was able to eat at one time. But I realized that my thing is snacking, because I snack
yeah.
in between. You know what I'm saying? It's different stuff for different people, and we don't realize like how close we actually could be to detrimental changes. So
I agree. It takes. Sometimes it doesn't take that drastic change. For you to realize something's wrong. Like it may not take something like, oh, you may have sleep apnea, or you do have sleep apnea. It's just something like, hey, like I used to be able to do this, and I can't do that as well as I could. Yet, and that may come with age, that may come with experience, but whatever it is, there's always something that you want to be able to do again that you can't do. Um,
Yeah.
so when you're on these type of different, whether it be a weight loss journey or a spiritual journey or a healing journey, whatever journey you're on, I always stress, always remember your why. Like, my why is completely different from what K's why is. It's also completely different from what King's is. Like, my why has always been, before my grandfather died, one of his last words to me were, I need you to get some of that weight up off you. He didn't say how much. He didn't say um, it needs to be done by a certain time. I just need you to get a little bit. And that's my why. And then it became, I want to be able to, get on rides with my kids at the water park. Then it became, all right, I want to be a dad again. So I need to be in shape. If I'm gonna be a dad again, I gotta be healthy enough to be able to produce, another seed or whatever. So always remember your why, um, and whatever you do. And for all y'all that's gonna be hit this and say, Daddy, yes, I said daddy again. Does that mean somebody pregnant? No. But that does mean um, kid number 5 could be somewhere down the line. Just, why are you making that face?
While you're wishing for the will to be one, you need to wish for the bank account also to have 5 kids, because they tend to be expensive. And I'm speaking from experience. So you add that in there with your prayer, okay?
I mean, I'm gonna add it in there, but that's why they got rich aunties and uncles.
Ooh.
I'm a spray that your way, so I can be like, hey, you know what? Call your auntie K. She got you. I ain't got no money today.
Well, I hope that by that time I have the bank account.
There you go. But we're gonna go to break, man. Y'all stay tuned. You're listening to Hertz World. Don't go nowhere. Welcome back to Hertz World. I am your girlfriend's favorite podcast host, the Big Hurt. And if she says I'm not, that Jezebel's a liar. And man, we just talking, shooting the shit today. Not necessarily anything in particular. If y'all are just tuning in, I don't know how you're able to do that, but if you fast forward, which is really crazy, I'm getting over COVID, which is why my voice is a little, up and down. But one of the things I did want to talk about is Michael Orr. So if you don't know who Michael Orr is a retired NFL football player from Memphis. He was supposedly adopted by this family here in Memphis. He couldn't read, he couldn't write when they adopted him, or supposedly adopted him. They brought him into their home, put him in school. He went on later to learn how to read, write, graduate from high school. Then he went to Ole Miss. Then he went to the league. So all that was detailed in a book, and then into a movie called The Blind Side. So long story short, after all of that, 15 years later, Michael Orr is now suing the family for the end of the I don't want to say this word wrong, but I think it's pronounced conveyormanship or something like that.
Conservatorship.
Conservatorship. And if y'all don't know what that is, that was that thing that Britney Spears was trying to get out of with her daddy. And basically, they were making all this money. The family was, not Michael Orr, is making all this money from the movie deal that the movie deal, the book deal, and all that stuff that he had going on. So he's suing to end that because he wants his part. Now, I'm not one to point fingers or say anything crazy. I lied on you. But how the fuck you go 15 years? You go to Ole Miss. You go first round draft pick in the NFL. You had this long, career in the NFL. And you not once think, these niggas ain't really adopt me. Or these niggas ain't really give me my money. I should say something. So when I first heard, I was like, bro, why you wait 15 years? Because if there's I know NFL contracts be fat, but movie deals be fatter. So that movie money a little different. So I was kind of skeptical, and I was like, something just don't sound right. What y'all think?
All right, I'm gonna say this, man. For any kid, when we was in high school, before we whoever went to college, before you sign that promissory note, man, some people just signed it but not knowing the terms and conditions about signing it. You feel me? Even with playing video games, bro, I'm a terms and conditions type of guy. I like to read what I'm going to check off. Even with downloading apps, because once you sign off on it, you're responsible for it, bro. So if you sign off on it as an 18-year-old, not even questioning what you signing, isn't that your fault at the end of the day?
Go ahead, Kay. I'm gonna answer that, but go ahead, Kay.
I don't want to step on anyone's toes when I say this. So I want to make sure I say this the right way. But I'm not as familiar with the backstory. I really didn't watch the movie. If I did watch it, it was probably at school and it was a one-time thing. Because I myself, I'm not too fond of the whole white savior complex. So when that movie came out, I was young, but I also knew as a black kid from the hood, it ain't that many white saviors. Well, it wasn't where I grew up. So most of the time when people have something like that broadcasted by publishing it and then turn it into a movie, it's for their own personal gain. It's not to highlight them saving this kid's life. So if previously, when they first adopted the little boy, well, him as a little boy, excuse me, if he wasn't able to read and write and all of the other stuff that they said he wasn't do, they probably taught him just enough they probably taught him just how to sign. So he probably couldn't even read the contract. Second of all, again, this is where I don't want to be offensive. So I hope this comes off like I mean it to come off. But just because he signed a deal with the NFL doesn't mean he was the smartest cookie in a jar. His physical abilities may not match his mental abilities. So he probably didn't know anything about any of that. As a kid, if somebody took him into their lives and loved him and it was something he was missing, he probably trusted them. He probably was wired to trust them. He probably was wired to think that they had his best interest in mind and not their own. Now, I can tell you why after 20 years, 15 to 20 years, it's come up. And it's because he has a black woman in his life that he just married. And we read that fine print. And we read between those lines. And we get to questioning stuff when stuff don't add up. So maybe it's this newfound influence that he has in his life that's making him kind of revisit some of those channels that he went down previously when he didn't have that by his side, when he didn't have someone in his corner, because maybe those white folks thought they found a meal ticket, which they did for a while. And she just came in and pretty much blew the cover off of it. So that's probably why it's just now coming out. But thank God it came out, because I didn't believe that white savior story in the first place. But that's all.
Well, so I believed it, but I didn't. So everybody knows what I do. Y'all know I work. So we won't say the name. But I actually met I met one of the guys that was a manager that knew the family way before the book came out and the movie came out, because I think he owned like the husband owned like a whole bunch of Taco Bells or some shit here in Memphis. So he knew the husband, he knew the wife, he knew the kids. He actually met big Michael Orr or whatever, and he said, man, like he loved those kids, he took care of them. And I was like, like I would take care of my meal ticket too. Like like think about it, if you find this kid in the hood who you take in, you put him in this school, He gains all this attention from these big D1 schools. You teach him just enough to pass. To pass on to college, to get a scholarship or whatever, to go to the school that you graduated from, where you give big donations to, where you met your wife and your kids are going to, and just get the wheels turning just enough. You push him there, and then he gets there. He continues to do, and this is no knock to student athletes, but some of y'all ass didn't go to class, and they just say, we know you on a football scholarship, and we need you, to win these games. So we're gonna pass you along and give you these bird courses, and you did just enough to get you a degree. Then you get to the NFL. But I guess my whole thing is like, when you get to the NFL, you meet different people. In no time between the time you got to college to now, there was nobody besides your new wife that was looking at you like, hey, them folks may not be in your best interest. Like, something ain't adding right. Like, it ain't no way in hell you should, like, because if we gonna be 100, like I said, that movie money hit different. The royalty checks hit different with that movie money. So if it came down to me, I would say, hey, you know what? I think it's time for me to retire from football, and I'm gonna live off this movie money a little bit, for a while longer, because y'all ain't finna be beating my ass on this football field. But that's just me. Shout out to the black woman. Shout out to his wife. But all the pictures I'm seeing, his kids are her kids.
Hey, so let me say this, Hurt. Hey, why? Okay, we was talking about all that time with somebody by his side. Why? Let me ask you this: Why would they say something? Why would they turn their water off? Would you turn your water off?
I mean, but somebody got it. Like, somebody on the outside got to be like, hey, Mike.
Hey, but look, I'm gonna flip it on you. I'm a dad. All right. I got a family. You know what I'm saying? I land a big ass deal with this football player as his assistant. You feel me? Now I went from Walmart salary to, I'm NFL. I'm big time now. So why would I say something to interrupt my flow of money as his assistant and mess my whole thing up from looking from his point of view?
And even still, like aside from that, how many people on the outside looking in really know what's going on unless you have some type of insight to that? You know what I'm saying?
If you don't say
I
nothing,
mean,
nobody knows nothing.
yeah, like, I don't know what's going on with the kids that my children go to school. They have friends from school. I know the friends from school. I might meet their parents. I might, cackle and kiki, but I don't really know what goes on inside their homes. I don't know what's going on between the parents or between the parents and the kids. We really only know to a certain extent on the outside. So the only people that would have known about his personal affairs are like a parental figure, which I assume that these, this couple, I don't even know how to say their last name, the Truies or Tui. Okay.
Tuies, yeah.
The Tuies. So I don't really know, like, outside of, like, I don't really know, like, who else would have been a parental figure for him outside the Tuies. So who else really would have known until he started to do things like, I guess with the conservatorship, it has something to do with with his ability to be married or something like that. So him just now getting married is probably the only other outside source that really cares about his well-being and was able to have access to certain documentation or personal records and to, really put two and two together, because who else would know that on the football field?
Yeah, but and in a different light, knowing that this, those kids may not be his, and then the wife coming in the manner that she did, more seems like a almost like a money scheme in a way, because it's like, all right, I get it, you feel me, but you're gonna more so press for the mental state of what this man is, more so than the money part, if you feel me, because this is potentially turn into a trauma situation for him. So as his wife, I think it'll be more of a comforting manner that you should be in, outside of just be like, all right, where is money at? You see what I'm saying?
I understand where you're coming from, but who's to say they haven't already done that?
They would have probably, I would say, if they're announcing things, it would have been announced publicly, that she would have announced her love and well being for this man, and pretty much announced her intention. Not saying
So
that she has to, but I'm saying for a sake of the case, that in the direction that it's going in, that probably would have been done, knowing that the difficulty that this man had in those years and times.
And I get where you're coming from too, but what I have noticed, and like I said, far be it from me to act like an expert because I'm not an expert on this case. I just know the bits and pieces that I've seen that have been in the media. But if that's the case, then I believe some of the children that he grew up with that were like his brothers and sisters have even like stated, well, I see why he would be upset. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know the full details, but I think one of the like the son or one of the sons. I don't know how many children it is total, but one of the children, one of the Tui children, seemed to be backing him in this move in public. So I think, like, you know how we were growing up, and I don't know about you guys, but I know for me, we had this thing called a child's place. So you stay in a child's place as long as you're a child. Let the grown-ups be the grown-ups and the children be the children. So I wouldn't say it's just like an entire family that was out to get him, but maybe it was the parents that were manipulating the situation and were doing things to better benefit their family, but using him to do so. And now that the children are growing up, maybe they see it for what it really is, because from what it looks like to me, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but from what it looks like to me is, now that it has blown up and become, and also I mentioned the wife, but I don't think the wife is the one that's actually stating anything. Nobody has mentioned her in the publications. But now that the children have grown up and it has come out, it seems like some of the Tui children are even on his side, understanding why it would be unfair to him, especially after all this time, for their parents to reap all of these benefits and not include him in it. And maybe they thought, well, he's got an NFL deal, so that'll be good enough for him. But I can see both sides of it. I can understand where you're coming from, but I also, like, maybe he's being manipulated from both ends. We don't know.
Hey, I
But
was gonna just say that. I was gonna say, like, if the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, so why wouldn't the kids side with him now? Because they back end finna be amazing.
well, no. So from what and from what I read, um, the way the deal was structured, supposedly, is the Tui's got money, and then they included the kids to get money too. So the kids was getting royalty checks too. He was Michael Orr was the only person not getting paid. So it wouldn't benefit the kids to be like, oh, well, mom and daddy was shady, because they were getting checks based off the movies and the books too. And I saw something, earlier this week where that the son had actually came out. I was like, bro, like we made, a couple, I want to say like $25,000 allegedly. Like he got a check from the movie theater for like 25 grand. Because, based off the movie. So the Tui kids were getting they were getting paid. It was just Michael Orr wasn't. And I was while y'all were talking, I was looking at his I was looking at his net worth and see, since he's retired or whatever. He's worth about $16 million. So it ain't a big bag, but it's a decent size one. It ain't horrible. But hold on. Can y'all see that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that.
See, this was 2 days ago. So now they saying, hey, we need to end this convert. Y'all know what I'm trying to say.
Conservatorship.
Conservatorship. So hopefully they go back and get this man his money. Because taking advantage of black people, we've been doing it. Y'all been doing that shit for too long.
Hey, but you got to think about it, bro. You got to look at it. The reason why they wanted to go through the whole legal process is because that little chunk of money that he think he probably gonna get is gonna get after the courts and the lawyers get their money, bro. It ain't even finna be a whole bunch of bread to talk about.
Yeah.
Question. Just a question. If you grew up and you were raised with a white family that adopted you, retained legal guardianship, whatever the process was, and they blew up your life, they sent you to the NFL, but then you realize that they sold your story and they're raking in money for it continuously because, like he said, it's not just a one-time lump sum payout. These are royalties that are provided to them over the years. And everybody else in their household is getting a part of that except for you. Would that not make you feel like you are owed a bit of
All
that?
right, so think about it like this. All right, so basically, like I say, this he didn't know under the how the story goes. He didn't know how to read or write, right?
That's what they say.
All right, so the him being illiterate, he had to have an interpreter by his side, and they're more than likely have furnished that for him. So what's going to happen is this: that interpreter is now going to be his signee, and he is going to be the last person to see these fine prints and shit like that. And he's going to be the one that makes those decisions, even with that man standing right next there to him.
But what if they were what if they were acting as his interpreter? You get what I'm saying?
I mean,
Because
they would have had to, because if this
For a
man
while, yeah.
couldn't read or write, he couldn't withhold consent to anything that them people was gonna present in front of him legally. So they would have, whether his interpreter had been a lawyer, you feel me? It could have been anybody. More than likely, they would have had a paid Monet calling you. It could have been a paid lawyer, and he could have been the one to sign off, because that man would have had written consent that he would have gave to this lawyer, that his mama and daddy would have told him to give to him. You see what I'm saying? And
I
they would have
said,
been like, and then they would have been like, all right, well, your mama and daddy told me to do this and do that and do that. And what he gonna say? He gonna say, yeah, these people done guided me all the way to the best part of my life. So why not listen to this man that's telling me that my mama and daddy said? So he pretty much could have signed himself out of his own deal and didn't even know. That's what I
He probably
personally.
did. I mean,
he
but see, go ahead, Kay.
go no, go ahead.
Well, no. So, and I think the movie kind of
You did a good job.
misinterprets or makes it something different, because like in the movie it's like he he was homeless, he was living out on the street or whatever, but he was able to do the basic things. He was a protector. But when I've been reading from researching for the for the show, he got into one of the best schools, or one of the best Christian schools, in the city. Now was that through the Tuies, or what? They're like, well, shit, like we just saw this big dude that's from the hood. He about 6'4", 250. He may do some shit. He may do some damage on the offensive line.
Yeah, high schools recruit too.
So it's like, damn, like, is that where y'all find him at? And then they got like from the movie, his GPA was like a 1.5 or some shit. And I think even when he graduated from high school, he barely got like a 2.5. So,
and they still let him graduate?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't high. At least I don't think it was. Like, it wasn't like just, he ain't graduated like, 3.1 or nothing like that. Like, according to the movie, he wrote a paper and he graduated like a 2.5. And then he got on scholarship, and they didn't really talk about grades and shit in college. And then he went to the NFL. So, it's just like, you skated this man on through, and and that's cool. Like, by all means, get your money. But my whole thing was like, okay, you took care of yourself, you took care of your kids. If you legitimately cared about this kid, give him some, like, he should have been in there somewhere.
No, look at it. Look at it like this, G. I'm gonna explain to everybody that don't know the layman terms of pimping. Okay, so this is exactly what happened. He was flooded. I guarantee you, he was flooded with so much. He was flooded with so much. Oh shit, she got beef. They fighting. Lord. So he was flooded with so much excitement, glitz, glamour. Oh, you want a pair of shoes? We gonna get you a pair of shoes. We gonna get you. Oh, you want some jeans? Here go. You know what? Let's give it up. Mr. Blindside, we're gonna get you a $10,000 jacket. We're gonna give it to you. We're gonna buy you a car here and there. You feel me? And once all of that's done, 15 years later, they done spun you around with so much stuff in your face, and you don't even know it until one day somebody like his wife come up and be like, man, hey, what's going on? You done did all of this and ain't got nothing to show for it. You feel me? You've been you a legend at this point in your craft. But there's no way to even, solidify your legend. You feel me?
Exactly, but that's that's like exactly what I was saying in the beginning. And it's not a fact of nobody saying that they don't deserve anything, nobody's saying that they can't receive royalties or however so forth. It's just pretty messed up that everybody was benefiting from this except for him. And that's why I think when he got that wife that came in and was showing him, babe, you really, because like you said, like I've said, like Herc has said in the beginning, he blindly trusted them, because what do we do to our parents? We blindly trust them and we think they have our best interests in heart. But it took someone else to come in and infiltrate his personal space to be able to see like these records, documents, things like this, and see that it wasn't adding up. So I think that is why it's now coming out all these years later. And I don't even know if I don't even know if they're suing for the royalties, but I know they're suing to remove the conservatorship. And I believe that is absolutely the first step. Because first of all, why am I 37 still in the conservatorship? Like,
but this is the thing though. I think they're gonna find claims that they did provide for him, even though it wasn't in a royalty type form, because they're gonna come up with these receipts, I guarantee, about what they gave to him, what they provided for him in those periods of time. I guarantee they have a track record of over 10, 15 years of things that they provided for him that they're gonna compare to the royalty numbers, and they're gonna probably say that was worth more than what the royalty was to get this case up out of there. I guarantee you.
But even if they do, the bottom line, I don't think is the money. I think the bottom line is removing the conservatorship so that they don't have the ability to, like, I'm sorry, Herc, you distracted me. um, but I think the bottom line is not even just money, because I like, again, I don't know it. Like, I don't know the full story. I don't know all of the details. I don't know if they're suing for money, but I know they're suing to remove the conservatorship, which at this point, I think we can all agree that if nothing else, that's no longer needed. You know what I'm saying? So
Not only if, because in the event now, and I don't know his health records, but if he was ever classified with an IEP in his life, that conservatorship is going to be in question.
but he's
Had to
married
be.
now.
What?
Even,
No,
I
no.
mean, hey,
But
guess
so
what? Guess what? In the event that Chief Keef would have had an episode, he could still be classified with an IEP, bro, because of his condition.
okay. So
Technically
technically,
speaking.
yeah.
So
So
what I'm saying is, if he is technically by law been diagnosed with a condition and they have a plan for him, it's gonna be hard legally for them to break that, or they're gonna just be put through hell and high water to get that broken. Because why would the laws that they have now for what would be a disability act are very stringent, and they don't play about them. So then those people are going to come to fight for him and then trump this case.
I guess we have to see how it plays out.
so me being look, I don't. What I'm about to say, don't cancel me, y'all. But I'm a glutton for punishment. So I went to go look. I just want to read y'all what the fuck I just found. This shit says, and I quote, hold on. Okay. He married his longtime partner, Tiffany Roy, in November of 2022. The couple has been together for 17 years.
Damn!
But that's what I said before.
No!
Because
that.
that's what I said before, because it's something about a conservatorship where you cannot just get married because you want to be married. They have to allow you to be married.
For
That's what I'm
17
saying.
years?
Now that he's married, it's over with. They cannot keep running this man, is what I said. Now that they didn't let the woman through, it's over with. She probably been standing there for the longest. Like, hey, how come?
See, that's what I was saying. I was like, you finna come in. Now that makes even more sense. You done probably created your plan. Mind you, you have they got kids together already, or she has her own kids.
No, they
If
got
they've been
4
together
kids
17 years,
together.
I'm gonna say if they've been together 17 years, those gotta be his kids. They have to be his kids.
It don't have to be, but we gonna
They've been together 17 years and they got 4 kids.
That's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. Because at this point, that's why I said I don't even know if it is necessarily about the money, but I know they're trying to cease the conservatorship, because who knows how long he has been wanting to get married, but
Yeah, but
they have to allow you to get married.
who's next in control when a conservatorship is now ceased to exist?
His wife.
I mean, by legal records, yeah, everything is his wife. But my thing, I
He's
mean, but
gonna come up.
I feel like you keep trying to like gauge it as if she has a plan. She been with this man for 17 years and she got 4 kids with him. Who else needs to be in control?
Yeah, true.
Bruh.
You're married, right?
No, because I bullshit you not. I don't wish harm. I don't wish ill on nobody. But I swear for cheese and crackers, if this man gets out of this shit and she divorced this man, I swear for cheese and crackers, he need to slap shit out of her.
Man, listen, it can happen. I'm not saying that I'm not saying that that's not a possibility, but I'm
If
saying,
you've been with me for 17 years and
but
you
y'all
decide to
saying
leave
that,
me
but
after
y'all, okay,
17 years,
okay, hold on for my ladies out there. Hold on for my ladies, because they're not gonna keep on making it seem like we the problem now. This woman trying to save this man life. They not gonna keep on making it seem like we the problem in this situation. Like I said, I haven't really been seeing anything about them. The story about the royalties and the backstory and all that is coming out, but I don't see her. I don't. First of all, like I said, they're not even mentioning her. They're just telling that he got married and all of his, his newer milestones. But I don't see anywhere where it's saying, "Oh, we suing them for all the money they didn't pay us." They are suing to remove the conservatorship. The same thing Britney Spears just did, because she's around the same age and she's got, well, I don't know, she might be a little bit older, but she had parents that did the same thing to her. Now, I haven't seen any videos of him. I don't know how he functions. I don't know like how his day to day is. Britney Spears probably should have stayed in that conservatorship a little bit. I know we fought to get Britney up out of there, and now she dancing her panties on Instagram. Anything can happen,
I
but
love that shit.
yeah, Plies and got her broke up with too. Plies and wrecked Britney Spears' home.
And dude finna get paid.
And side note, does anybody on here know who Drea Kelly is?
That
R.
sounds
Kelly,
familiar.
R.
You know,
Kelly
R. Kelly.
ex-wife.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen her content, but somebody said today that she is the black version of Britney Spears, and I cannot unsee it now because all she do is shimmy in her panties. But on another note, I don't see her again. Anything is possible. I'm not advocating for anyone. If something were to happen down the line, and this is all like if this is moving from them manipulating him to her manipulating them, I would hate to see it happen. But as of right now, that's not what it looks like to me. To me, it looks like they finally let them get married, and she's trying to remove the conservatorship because maybe she was able to see how they have manipulated him through the years. I don't know if we go down the line and they do get divorced, and she's able to remove all the ties from them, but then she takes his money. Y'all can say I told you so. Y'all can say I knew you bitches was dirty. You can say whatever you want to say, but right now that's not what it seems like to me.
Yeah.
Just like you're
She could be
married.
taking it to she could be taking the money to build the legacy, and that's hopefully what I'm thinking that she's doing.
Exactly, because right now that money's not going to his legacy. That money is going to the Tui's legacy, even the children. And that's the part that kills me, because that's why I'm like, if he were to sue, I think he has ample reason to have them review the documents, because like just like how you were saying about him being an IEP, I feel like he could use that to his advantage, because he's like, if I had an IEP, how could I know what I was signing? How could I know without their direct influence
No.
what I was
IEP is
signing?
just
A learning plan, right?
pretty much, but if you're not in a learning program like an everyday IEP, it's just gonna be a functionability type thing. But let's just say this, all right. So um with
Where the other woman go? I thought I had another woman on here. I'm
oh
sorry.
yeah, my wife just went to the back right quick.
Oh man, tell her what y'all are not gonna do.
Well,
Yeah,
no,
First,
but
well,
I'm
no,
gonna have
no,
me and
no.
jump on this.
yeah, I want to believe that he's gonna take control and build the legacy. You see what I'm saying? Because now they both getting older, the kids getting older. You feel me? You would want to create that because now we want our own. But the only thing that may, and I just thought about this too, if this family is smart and legally financially literate as I'm thinking, they could have put him in a trust, bro.
I mean, they could. It's a lot of things they could have done. It's a
Because
lot of things they
those
still have
things
time to do.
directly affect how the outcome of this is going to play out. Because if they went through a trust with him, it's going to be very, very hard for them to fight the trust, because once you give it to a trust, they don't no longer own it.
But see, that has nothing to do with the conservatorship, though. They can still
True,
steal
true.
that.
But
And
that
even if he's out of the money, like let's just take the money off the table. Even if he's out of the money and there's no way that he can recoup any of that money, that still means that moving forward, they don't have that direct control over his life that they now have, that he's still 37 in a conservatorship.
yeah. But
So,
that has to be proven with documentation from health records and stuff like that, because that's gonna further along the validity of him not needing. It's gonna be about the need of a conservatorship, more so of them wanting to have one on him.
but even if he still needs a conservatorship, I'm sure they can fight for now that previously, like I said, you can't get married just on a whim. You have to be allowed to marry. So
Right.
previously there was, if he was in the conservatorship and he needed it, there was nobody else other than the Tuohys that could be his conservators. But
Right.
now that he's married, if they do check his records, check his if he has mental testing or whatever that dictates that he still needs a conservator, now his wife can step in and do that
But
instead of
okay,
being the Tuohys.
if it was such an easy process, this case wouldn't be relevant, because they would have let the wife take legal note and be the conservator.
But why would you let go of your bread and butter? You see what I'm saying?
That's where the case comes in, and that's why it's going to be an outside person other than the wife, because the wife solely cannot take on that responsibility as that person. You can't be a mama and a wife at the same time legally.
I don't give a fuck about none of this shit. The fact that she been with this man for 17 years.
That's crazy how, never mind. Let me not start.
17, bruh.
Let me not say nothing.
17.
But y'all be saying we don't stand by our men, but you see somebody standing by their man, and it's a problem. Oh my
It's not
goodness.
a no no
It
no
is
no
a
no
lose,
no no no
lose.
no no. I'm not saying it's a problem. Outlook when all the memes came out, that was like, why is he saying? Why all of a sudden is he stepping up and trying to end this now? And now all of a sudden it was a picture of him and his wife. I was like, oh, because he got a good woman in his corner. My whole thing is, you've been with this nigga for 17 years.
The only thing they couldn't, clearly they were fucking. So the only thing they couldn't do for 17 years was get married.
They've been commonly law married for 10 years.
I mean, but common law versus actually being married, maybe it meant something to them. Maybe they wanted to actually be married for the children and things like that. Maybe they wanted to just be a family, And
we've been a family for 17 years.
You don't know how long of those 17 years he has tried to be married. That's what I'm saying. None of this has been public. It's not like he's been dragging them through the mud. We don't know the backstory. All we know is that as of now, 2023, he's suing to end his conservatorship. But we don't know how long he's been fighting to get married. We don't know that. I'm sure that after 17 years, this wasn't the first time they've discussed it. I'm sure that after 4 kids, they didn't just decide after 4 kids to get married. Maybe there was a personal fight that they went through and they actually gained access after time. You know what I'm saying? Maybe this is something that's been going on for the longest within the Tuohy family. But I mean, we just don't know. Things always can look a certain way on the outside, but everything needs context. And a lot of times that's what we miss is the context. All we know is after 17 years, they're finally married.
Ladies.
They've been bugging. They have 4, not 1, 2, or 3, but 4 kids. So, but clearly it seems like, and I know that looks can be deceiving. I know it's happened 100 times over. We've had many examples, but it doesn't look like she's out for a money grab. If she's been with this man, she couldn't even marry, and she's had 4 kids by him, and they've been together for, hit it, Herc, How long they been married?
17 years.
So she's been
Ladies,
here.
ladies, I love y'all. I do. But if this nigga has been with you for 17 years and he ain't trying to marry you, leave him.
That's not what we said. That's oh my god.
No,
Leave him.
everybody's
Leave
situation is
him.
different. Everybody's situation different.
Thank
But
you.
Leave
it don't.
him.
I ain't gonna lie. It don't take you 17 years to figure out if you gonna want to be with somebody for the rest of their life.
It don't.
But y'all missing the whole point. It's
I mean,
not about he cannot just go get married to her when he wanted to because he was in a conservatorship,
I
which
get
is
that.
probably why he's fighting to end it now.
So
Y'all keep
if I'm
dancing around
correct,
that.
is a conservatorship more? It's okay. So it's more like a legal guardianship. I'm guessing, right?
But you have like it's more like a legal guardianship, power of attorney. Like it's you
Okay.
literally can't
Those.
make your own decisions
So
like that.
okay.
You
Boom.
can't make
Okay.
life decisions.
When that comes into play, okay. So that had to be determined. You see what I'm saying? Tests had to
At
be
a young
ran,
age.
and yeah, and if you got to think about it, if somebody just like to say, like, I'm gonna use Chief Keef just because he's a nationally known person with a diagnosed disease. All right, now
What's wrong with Chief Keef?
he has
Yeah, I didn't
autism.
know.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I just thought he was
he
slow.
has he has autism, so he can in any type of way or form he can have an episode. You feel me? But this is gonna be publicly known because all right, we noticed about him and stuff like that. So if he was to get to the point where he couldn't control his episodes, he would probably have to designate somebody to be there for him, technically a conservator, to make the decisions for him. You see what I'm saying? Because in essence, when he makes a big decision dealing with millions of dollars, he probably wouldn't have the competency to make those decisions. So, and I'm thinking with Michael Orr's case is all right. His people had the best interest in their mind for him, and he's like, they're telling him, probably coercing him, oh, we're gonna get this for you and we're gonna get this for you, like you say, parental worship, and he just ran along with it. But just like I was saying, they probably showered him with so much stuff.
Uh-oh, we lost. Oh.
Yeah, somebody was calling me. I had to decline him right quick. um they just probably gave him so many gifts and things that just, and now I'm thinking, boom, they probably took care of his kids the whole time. So he was probably so grateful, and that just went over his head. And then one day they probably asked for something and they didn't get it. And that's probably what started it.
So I just read really quickly about conservatorships. Conservatorships mean they are needed in the case of like a guardian or someone, like we said earlier. See, if he was just a child with intellectual disabilities, then his parents would probably have just provided care for him for a longer amount of time than a normal child, right? But
Right.
because the Tuohys were not his parents, they they requested the conservatorship to be able to manage his financial affairs and things like that because of his learning disability. Because it is widely known, based on the story, that he had a learning disability. So
Bingo.
I
Bingo.
but it also says that when you think you no longer need that, meaning that it possibly could become a time. It's not something that is always lifelong. So it also says that if you think that is no longer needed, you can sue to end the conservatorship. And I think we hear the word sue and we automatically think that it's like a tussle, but really sue means you just bringing it up to the courts because
Yeah.
the courts are the first people to establish it.
Yeah.
And this man has remained in the conservatorship for as long, and it was established when he was a child. So, of course, throughout the years, you would have grown, even if he has a limited capacity. I'm not calling him remedial, but even if he had a limited capacity, he could have matured more than he was at the time that it was established. But you have to sue. So, it could also be a thing where he may have tried to end it previously and did not want to sue. You get what I'm saying? He may not have wanted to make it public. That's why he's been with this girl for 17 years and they've had 4 children with each other, because he may not have wanted to sue and turn it into like this ugly thing. But being that after 17 years, he finally was able to,
Now, hey, now
after
look.
70 years, he was finally able to get married. Now, this could be, like you said earlier, if the courts feel like he still needs to have some type of a conservator, I believe that his wife, because in law, when you get married, unless you deem it specifically not to, all of your affairs financially are actually combined anyway. You're like one entity
You
when you
can
get married.
you can get them combined. They don't come combined.
Well, you would know more,
Yeah,
but I'm sure
I'm telling you.
that's what. But I said unless you specifically deem them not to be,
Yeah,
when you're married, you're in unison. So
yeah.
she probably don't need a conservator. And now that he's a legal spouse, it's probably something that if they do determine that he is in need of some type of a guidance, he's married now. That's why a lot of conservators don't allow you to get married, because that person that you're marrying, your legal spouse, can then take the place of a conservator.
No,
So
okay. So I'm gonna tell you why that can't be. All right, you can't be a mom and a wife at the same time. Now, as a conservator, all right, you are the goddamn financial advisor. So if you have a spending problem, all right, that's something that I could deem to the courts to make you not be your own conservator. All right, because why would I relinquish conservatorship and you don't have a good grasp on money managing?
it says, who does the court appoint as a guardian or conservator? The court's first choice is a close family member, usually a spouse or domestic partner, parent, or adult child.
Okay.
It may not be called a conservator because you guys are legally married and that's your wife. But you could take, if there is a need, and we're just saying if, because nobody's even determined that he's still in need of one. I hear what you're saying, but we don't know if that applies to his situation. He has been in this conservatorship since before he was of age. So it's pretty outdated. But if there was still a need for a conservator, she could step in and be that, as well as his spouse. She could have been it apparently as a domestic partner. I don't know if that changes from state to state.
See, that's what I'm
But
saying. If that option would have been available, I think that would have been exercised.
but you don't know what's been exercised behind closed doors. That's what I'm saying. They've been going through this for the longest. It
Right.
very well could have, they could have tried to do this amicably. Maybe that's why they ended up allowing him to get married. But as a conservator, of course, you want to keep that control. You want to be able to control someone's finances. So a lot of times, people who are conservators, they don't even allow the people in conservatorships to get married. So that could be why it took 17 years for them to officially become man and wife. And I'm sure she does not want them to be the conservator over their financial affairs, especially if she's of sound mind. Because I haven't seen any articles saying that she has any learning disabilities or any intellectual shortcomings. So I'm pretty sure that we will find out more as more comes to light. But that is why I think all of this is just now starting.
Yeah.
Well, all I'm gonna say is, um, ladies, gentlemen, who have you identify, drop in the comments if you'll be with somebody for 17 years and not get married. For the record, I won't. We gonna go to break, Michael. Or if you need somebody to handle a financial business venture for you, or you just want to blow some money, Hertz World Savings Donations. Use that. Do the information what you want to do with it, man. 17 years. We'll be right back. More Hurts World. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Hurts World. I am your girlfriend's favorite podcast host, The Big Hurt. And if she says I'm not, I don't know. I'm still fucked off this 17 years.
I hope your girl ain't got no conservators.
I hope she not either, because if she do, we need to end this shit now. Because if you think 17 years,
Long time.
we were talking about Michael Orr before we went to break. Oh shit. Okay, so we're gonna move right along. 17 years. I'm gonna play this video for y'all, and y'all give me y'all's opinion on the video. Let me pull it up real quick.
That women should be dating 2 to 3 men, and the amount of women that wrote me saying 2 to 3, oh my God, that's exhausting, that's tiring. 2 to 3, hell, I can't even find one. Where you found one at? And I'm so concerned for y'all because I'm trying to figure out why are y'all so exhausted. You should be choosing up, baby. It's not a man on this earth that is exhausting me. It's not one man that I'm dating that it is laborious, okay, to date him, all right? You have to choose up. You should be choosing up financially, period. You should be choosing up an emotional maturity. You should be choosing up and vibes and quality of life. If anything, nothing should be happening, but life is getting better for you. Those bags that you're carrying, it should be less for you to do, baby. I'm not understanding why y'all truth is I'm tired. What is going on? Choose up, my love. Everything should be increasing. I told y'all.
All right. Now, I do agree. You are supposed to choose up. Be better. Every person you encounter should be an upgrade. My question to y'all: should you be able to date multiple people at the same time and it be okay?
So there's this thing in relationships that people don't understand called soul ties. You feel me? All right, soul ties is very important. So when you with multiple people, you collect the same spirits of those people. So if them people got what they call, just gonna say, bad juju on them, and you gonna inherit that. So if you got a person that got let's say a person got a bad money spirit on them, or a depression spirit, or an anxiety spirit, or like a like a fear of something, you innately inherit those spirits, and then people be like, damn, well, this is going on in my life, and this is going on in my life, but not knowing you sharing souls with somebody else that you feel me, probably shouldn't even have connected with, and now technically you got them souls on you for life now until you feel me. So it's, I don't know, me personally probably would just stay away from that, only because soul ties is real. Soul ties is definitely real, bro. Like, and I don't know what people preference is on, you know, spirituality and stuff like that, but energy is real, and you can feel energy. And some people don't know what type of energy that they mixing when they deal with certain or multiple people.
So, okay, before you go, I'm just gonna be 100% honest. I am too goddamn lazy to be trying to date this person, that person, this person, that person. I don't want to know that many people favorite colors. I don't want to know that many different people favorite foods. I don't want to know what that many people 5-year plan is. I can't do all that shit because I'm lazy, and I'm okay with that. So for me, I can only date one person at a time because I'm lazy and I'm a little selfish. And when I say I'm selfish, like if I decide to spend my time with you and put my effort into whatever we trying to do, and I just get a little inkling of I'm not getting the attention or the things that I want, I'm gonna feel some type of way. So I can't date multiple people at the same time because it don't work for me. But Kay, you being the only lady on the panel, And that video did come from a young lady who happens to be my cousin. Shout out to Tasia. How do you feel about it?
I personally think that one thing that we automatically assume, and I'm not saying that people don't do it, but when we say dating, because, well, first let me say, I agree with what you said, King Leo, but the only thing I will like to point out is dating is not always having sex. Now, in this point in time, in this day and age, a lot of people automatically assume if I show you a little attention or if we're getting to know each other, sex is an automatic. And I think if we pull back from that, that's what's going to stop all of this bad juju and all of these spirits hopping from each person, from person to person. That's where all of these demons coming from. So if we are able to realize that we can still court, we can still get to know each other before we share our bodies with each other, because that's not dating. Dating is getting to know another person, like truly and honestly.
Yeah.
Now, if we are at the level where we decide, because when I heard that, I actually heard that a little bit right before the podcast, and she made some points to me, and I was like, "Oh, girl, laborious. I have to use that." But what and like I was telling her before, I consider myself to be a different thinker, because no shade to nobody out there, but I just don't seem to think along the same lines and agree with what's generalized as the new norm. I don't think like that. And as someone who's married, see, you guys have met someone that you've been aligned to, and it seems like your values and opinions align with her values and opinions, and you've decided to mutually and exclusively be with each other. That's one thing. But you had to date before you got to know that.
Right.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean you guys, I mean, let me, I'm not trying to step on no toe. I don't know. But did y'all sleep with each other on the first time you met each other?
No.
You probably didn't sleep with each other the second time you met each other either.
No.
It's a process.
It was down the line.
It's a process. Now, you have to also be strong enough to know that I don't have to give myself to as a woman, we have to be strong enough to know I don't have to give myself to a guy that I've only seen 1, 2, or 3 times just because I feel like that's what he wants to do. As a man, you also have to know that if a woman doesn't give herself to me the first couple of times that we meet each other, then that's okay too. I'm not wasting my time. I'm not wasting my money or whatever the case may be, because a lot of times that's immediately what they want off the bat. They don't even have to spend no money, girl. They want it off the bat.
Right.
But
It is also okay if you smash on the first night. Go ahead.
Don't put that on my name. Let's clarify what you say.
I was just saying it is okay
on that one. To each his own.
Right. It is also okay to if you smash on the first night.
To each his own. If that aligns with both of you, that's what I mean by saying you just have to find somebody that you are aligned with.
Beyonce smashed on the first night. That's okay.
You don't know that. You don't know that.
She said that. That's quoted. You look that up.
Beyonce was 16 when they met. Don't be putting up business like that.
Hey, but I'm saying though, she said that though.
Girl.
Hey, she said that though. I promise.
But you know what? But it worked for her because they've been in a long-standing relationship. But what I'm saying is, I think as a woman, because before you even hopped on, me and Herc were like kind of not going back and forth, but we were discussing like the differences in women and men and society's expectations and things like that. And I feel like as a woman, there's a lot of negative connotation that comes with us. But that's also because we're not being true to who we are. We're so busy trying to feed into the what society deems the norm, and it's not beneficial for us. We were talking about the multiple dating thing, and I have absolutely no problem with it, because at the end of the day, nobody's saying you have to be sleeping with every single person that you date. But most of the negative connotation from women come from the fact that we meet one person and we expect them to be our ABC and our XYZ. And you may not be all 6 of those. You might have the ABC, but you don't have the XYZ. And instead of me pressuring you to not have that, maybe I can go mingle with somebody who has the XYZ. And then let's see. You said what?
Dating is like shopping.
Absolutely. Price comparisons, things like yes, it is for men and for women. Because
Yes.
one thing is for sure, nobody's ever beat up a man for dating multiple women.
Mm.
Nobody's ever beat up a man. And a lot of times they'll have something, what we call have a good woman at home, but she's the ABC, but she ain't the XYZ. So he'll go and flop around for that X. He'll find the X over here, the Y over here, and the Z over here. Nobody.
No, because I know plenty of women that be like, oh, I got a dude that can fix the light bulb, but then I got a dude that can do this. I got a dude that get my oil changed, and I got a dude that he can lay the pipe just right, and then I got a dude that just gonna give me money.
And I guarantee you this. But I guarantee you this. If that's the case, I guarantee you that man that's laying pipe ain't complaining about doing nothing else. That man that's fixing the light bulb, he ain't trying to fix nothing else but that light bulb. And the man that's buying lunch, he just a lunch buying nigga. He ain't trying to do nothing else. So we learn how to fit it in where it needs to be fit in. But as women, we try to do all of it at once, and not even all of that does not even keep a man. We try to cook, clean, take care of the kids, work, and sometimes that's still not going to keep your man from just for wanting to go find X and find Y and find Z. But what I'm basically saying, what you say? I was say, add it in there. Oh, was that the video? I thought she had something to say. I was like, come on, add it in here, girl. Help me out.
I was gonna say, but see, the stigma of dating multiple people for guys, especially guys at a young age, is more as like people. I guess young cats use that as like a sense of power type deal, and it's no longer at the direction to fulfill anything for either party. It's more so just to have a whole bunch of girls under your belt type deal.
And I
That
understand
messes up the pool.
Exactly, because it starts whatever you touch, that bad juju from just wanting that power. You
Yeah.
touch a woman, and then that rubs off on her and leads to a bad experience that might make her look at things differently. And now she's a bitter, scorned woman. And then she goes into the world, and it's hard. It's like damaged goods. It's like having a bag full of cans, right? Well, let me say it like this. You know how you go to the grocery store and it's cans all over the shelf. The cans are simply the cans. They are filled with whatever they are meant to be filled with. So you got some that are filled with beans, some that are filled with vinas, whatever. But the cans are still the cans, and their purpose is to hold everything inside of them and keep it safe and keep it fresh or whatever. That's all the can is meant to do. The can has no other control but to do what it's supposed to do. But in transit, sometimes you might have somebody that drops a case of cans, and all them cans get dents in them. The can didn't do that. It was just in transit. But when you put those dented cans on the shelf, who do you know? I mean, you might be lucky to find somebody who is just not paying attention, just doesn't really care, and just picks up a can because a can is a can. But you see people shuffling stuff to the back. Oh, that can dented. That can beat up. Let me get one of these pretty cans. When the can didn't ask to be dropped. That's just what happened while it was in transit. Do you get what I'm saying?
True. Now, I got a similar analogy going back to what my wife said about shopping. All right. Now, how what I've seen the meme is when you're dating. All right. And just like you wearing a pair of shoes. Now, when the last time you went shoe shopping barefoot? All right. So that
Yeah.
means you're gonna, and let's just say the shoes that you got on is like your current relationship. All right. And this is what I say about guys having a whole bunch of shoes or a whole bunch of relationships. They'll go to a store and they'll see a whole bunch of shit that look good. You see what I'm saying? And I say it's gonna come new out the box because when you meet somebody, you're not gonna know their imperfections and stuff like that. So they're gonna give you their best foot forward. So you might get that shoe and take it out the store. You might fuck clean over that shoe.
Mm-hmm.
You feel me? And put it on the shelf and never mess with it again. And wear that same pair of shoes that you went in the store to go buy them shoes with. You feel me?
Yeah.
And then you might just want to have multiple of them pairs of shoes. You see what I'm saying? Just to say you got them.
And that's why, and you never know what type of, one thing about it, time is going to tell.
Yeah.
You never know what type of person you are going to meet, come in contact with, and you never know who exactly you're meeting until you actually meet this person multiple times over time. Because if I meet you today and you're that same person a year from now, I know I met the real you. But if I meet you today and you love bomb me and you tell me this and you tell me that and everything goes good for the first couple of weeks, couple of months even, and then I started to notice that you're the same, I mean, you're the opposite of who you pretended to be and who you presented yourself as, then that's me wasting that time that we can't get back just being with you, right? Which I'm not saying there's anything wrong with, but that's time wasted that you could have been networking, mingling, and being around other people. But and this all falls back onto the like dating multiple people. I'm saying this as a person. Also, let me just clarify. I'm saying this as a person who I'm in my early 30s, but in my 20s, I didn't live life like someone who you think would live in their 20s. I lived life, and to me, wasted a lot of time. I had children with a guy. You know what I'm saying? I had the idea of starting the family and doing this and doing that. But as time moved on, I realized that this person that I met back this day was no longer the person that I was with today. I know I probably wasn't the same person that he was with today. And what he was with before. But what I also learned was that we were no longer aligned with each other. That's not to say, we all have our bad habits and our bad traits. Just like I could tear a person down and say what I don't like about them, they probably could do that about me. That doesn't make it true. That's their perspective. But that's not for me to say that they're a bad person. They were bad for me and where I wanted to go. We were no longer aligned. And even when that relationship ended, I've been a dater, like a serial dater, and kind of dating with monogamy. And what I have learned is that I kind of wasted my time because even if another opportunity presented itself, I had no room for it because I was already focused on one thing. And when that one thing didn't work out, there were numerous opportunities that I probably will never know. Timing and your environment, all of that plays a part in everything. So to go back to the dating thing, I absolutely agreed with that theory that, it shouldn't be a negative connotation to dating multiple people, because dating people does not necessarily, I think when we say dating, we automatically assume that you're having sex with everybody, and that shouldn't be the case. If you want it to be the case and it works for you, then that's fine, but it does not have to be the case. It does not have to be the end all be all. Dating is getting to know a person spiritually, mentally, physically, emotionally, how they are in different seasons, how they handle problems, how they handle conflict, all of that. Getting to know, it ain't about Hurt talking about something. I ain't got time to be. You probably toxic, Hurt, but you probably toxic.
I'm a little toxic, but at the same time,
more than just knowing somebody's favorite color. I think it's getting, because I'm gonna just go out on a limb a little bit further, because I be catching heat for this. But I be like, damn, don't nobody want to be friends no more? Being in the friend zone, I think I said this before. Got a friend zone somebody, it's like you are completely dissing them, when I feel like That's the most. I love to be friend zoned because
No,
I feel like you think more of me
the the
than
thought- the theory
just a
behind
lot.
friend zone. The theory behind friend zone is this: when a guy gets friend zone in society's theory, that's gonna be the good guy. So the guy that gets friend zone is gonna be the guy that's probably the best option for her, but she's probably gonna choose like the thug or the bad guy in her roster.
Right.
That's not always the case though,
It's
because
not.
I'm not saying that is not the case for some people, but that's not always the case.
Well, no,
I'm a
look at it.
person.
Like looking at just looking at everything, bro. I can name one right now, bro. I can name one right now. Sierra dated Future. You see what I'm saying? And that probably wasn't and more than likely she had friends on Russell G, and probably had friends on him for a long time until everything didn't work out for Sierra, and then she snip and boom, just like and don't forget Angela Simmons now, because she had a couple of instances too, and let's not forget Lori Harvey too. You feel me? She friends on a lot of motherfuckers, and then gave them their time
But
when
see,
they pieced it in. You feel me? I could go on.
wait a minute, let's go back to Sierra because when Sierra was with Future, Russell Wilson was married. So I don't think they previously had a relationship.
Hey,
But
hey, but
let's
they
use
don't
They were
Sierra as an
friends.
example. Let's
that don't
use
mean that
Sierra
don't mean
as
they
an example.
wasn't conversing though.
But look, but let's use but what can you do when someone is married? There's only so much you can do. But
Hey,
let's
that's what
use
that's
Sierra
that's
as an
called
example.
affairs.
Let's use Sierra as an example because that's a great example for learning from your mistakes too. Because there is potential for a person to make a mistake. There is a potential for a person to think immaturely and not see the benefit of looking long term. And she was young. I'm not saying that women are perfect and we make all the right choices. Sometimes we do fall into that trap and we think immaturely. But Sierra is a perfect example of learning from your mistakes because she did go with the popular guy that was from her hometown, and you know they were cool, they were both on the scene, they were both hot at the time, and she had a child by him, and she saw how he dogged her out, and she felt how he dogged her out. What I always appreciate about Sierra, and a lot of people joke about it, but what I appreciate about Sierra is the fact that she didn't just say, "Oh, I knew better, so I did better," blah blah blah. She literally said that she prayed to God to, with all the mistakes that she made in this relationship, help her see a man that was going to do X, Y, and Z for her and be a certain way about her, and that she could return that love to. You don't see Sierra relationship hopping. She found somebody that accepted her child, and now she has had 3 more kids with, and they're married.
The
That
good
is a
guy.
perfect example,
The good guy.
and there's nothing wrong with the good
No, it's
guy.
not. But
Y'all let
theoretically, over
society,
over.
but and y'all, and when I say y'all, I don't mean just men, I mean people, because women and men can do the same, can have the same toxic traits.
True.
But it's like, even still though, she could have bounced from him to, somebody else that didn't mean her any well. But she is a perfect example of someone who learned from their mistakes, and that's all it's
G.
about at the end of the day. We
Jada
have
Pinkett.
mistakes.
Jada Pinkett. Friends
Toxic.
on Tupac. And theoretically, if they would have been together, Tupac would have probably been alive. But who did she choose? The good guy, Will Smith. You feel me?
But I'll also say this too, and that, just using that example, Tupac was outwardly a thug, right? But he actually was a good guy under the surface. He was just a product of his environment,
Yeah, not yeah.
because
True,
he was
true,
a
true.
product of his environment. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But he had a lot of conflicting emotions. He had a lot of rage and hatred for the way that he grew up. So yeah, it displayed, and he was very powerful and assertive in how he thought. So it was displayed as him being a thug. And then he also was one of those kind of guys who, I'm not gonna. Well, he kind of did. I'm a Tupac fanatic, but he kind of did. He did glorify being a thug, but he also put a meaning behind it instead of just, "I'ma shoot guns, I'ma do this." He did put education behind it. And he was a person of the people. So he was a good guy too, to his core. It wasn't like he just was no good, had no future. He was just out here living and being reckless. He was just a product of his fucked up environment. And
But if you compare Will Smith in those times and Tupac, you're gonna look at Tupac as the bad guy, and you're gonna look at Will Smith as the good guy.
Jada Pinkett chose Will Smith because she was with Will Smith before Tupac died.
Toxic. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. Jada toxic. Jada will always be toxic to me.
Jada's our queen.
Oh, Queen Toxic. Fellas, date intentionally.
Yeah.
Ladies, date intentionally. Fellas, if you gonna slide in K's DMs, do it intentionally. Just come with a purpose. What? You can date. You just said you can date.
I didn't put myself on
the market.
The menu, right? I didn't put myself on the menu. I'm just sharing my wisdom. See, that's why I stopped podcasting. Because every time I got a he was sending folks in my DMs. I'm not ready right now.
Okay, well don't
I'm
slide
in a period of reflection right now.
don't slide in KDMs. Damn, I be trying. But no, leave your comments. Also, before we wrap up real quick, does body count matter to y'all?
I mean, at the same time, all right. So this is what I heard on I think it may have been No Jumper. So what's the difference than one girl sleeping with 100 guys, or that one girl sleeping with the same guy 100 times?
The juju.
Yeah.
The more opportunities. I'm not gonna say body count counts, but just to answer your question, not saying you don't open yourself up for opportunities to pass along bad energy with one person 100 times, because if they're dipping out on you, then you're opening up yourself.
But can't one person have 100 different type of emotions and insert them into you as well?
They can, but
so in essence, there's no difference. It's like, what's heavier, a pound of sand or a pound of water?
I mean, I don't think body count counts. I think that's a juvenile conception. But just personally, I'm just saying, ladies, I would be mindful of who we open ourselves to fully.
You'll never get the right number. You'll never get the right number.
No, that's not the truth either. Because I mean, if you okay, this is the conversation me and her had before you got on the podcast. You're not a pimp or a play. Like, a lot of people think that they're doing something by lying and manipulating people. But you really don't have game unless you can be honest and still get the same results. Yeah. Some people don't have to lie. Because if I tell you the truth, you still gonna fuck with me anyway because you like me. I don't have to lie to you.
Yeah.
It's like I don't expect anybody to lie to me. But that's not a question I'm gonna necessarily ask, because that doesn't matter. To go back to what you said, you're absolutely right. It doesn't matter. Unless it's, me personally, I just would like to know if you didn't fuck around with some kin of mine, somebody close to me. Let me know something like that. But I'm not asking how many.
If there was a stranger, would it matter?
If the person I'm dealing with is a stranger, but not
when those events took place, if there was a stranger, would it matter?
It's not that it would matter with us. I'm just thinking of the connotation it would bring for our relationships that I had prior to you. So just like, okay, for instance, if you're married.
Yeah.
If before you met your wife or knew who she was, if you slept with her sister or her cousin, would you not tell her that?
I mean, but I would have to be
best friend.
That would have to be brought up. If I'm knowledgeable, then yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I'm the type of person, I'm not caring how many bodies you're carrying. I would hope that you're not gonna literally asked me in our big ages that we are at this time, I would hope that you wouldn't ask me that. The only thing that would matter to me is if you have dealt with someone in that capacity that's close to me. If it's a relative, if it's a close friend of mine, that's something I think is on a need to know basis.
Yeah.
But if you have that knowledge, like if you slept with my sister, you slept with my cousin, you slept with this girl that you see me with all the time, I feel like that's on a need to know basis. I don't need to know how many people you've ever slept with in your life. But if for some reason that came into play and it was a question that needed an answer, I also don't have to lie about it. You
Hey,
know what
I'm,
I'm saying?
hey, and I'm gonna address something too, because the real root of this that people don't really know, and it's kind of an ignorance to it, and it's how the body works. Because a lot of people will be like, "Oh, who wants to drive a car with a whole bunch of miles on it?" I mean, but the best way
I
to say this is
I could have had one partner for 10 years and we fucked every day for those 10 years. And
exactly
that's
that's
a
what I
lot
was
of my
saying. The
I ain't
100
Larissa
guys,
Pippen.
yeah, the 100 guys with one girl, or the girl having doing that with her partner 100 times. It's the same exact thing, because there's there's going to be a regeneration of the body, so you're not going to know anyway.
yeah.
You're not going to know anyway. So it's
Well,
just,
Body body count does not matter.
yeah,
Family
I
count
would say.
does. Like
well,
family
that
count does.
body counts don't matter. But if you smashed her sister or her brother, that you probably want to tell her, or him. Do with that information what you will. We going to break. Don't be smashing folks, family members, and cousins, because that can get messy at the family reunion. We'll be right back with more Hertz World. Welcome back to Hertz World. I am your girlfriend's favorite podcast host, Big Hurt. And if she says I'm not, she's a liar. Um, we had one more topic, but we are running low on time, so we're gonna move right along. So my favorite part of the show, and it is songs that you know you should not have been singing as a kid. Um, this week's song is a no-brainer. If you knew this song word for word as a kid, you probably were considered fast in the ass, or maybe, in today's terms, a little thought. Um, but you knew from the very second this song came on, you wasn't supposed to sing it. And there were adults that let you listen to this song in their presence, and they should get their ass whooped. But they won't, because some of them is your favorite aunties and your uncles. But this week's song is none other than this. I'm not gonna tell y'all what it is. Y'all gonna know what it is by the time the beat starts. But here we go.
All you ladies pop your pussy like this. Shake your body, don't stop, don't miss. All you ladies pop your pussy like this. Shake your body, don't stop, don't miss. Just do it, do it, do it, do it, do it now. Lick it good, suck this pussy just like you should. Right now, lick it good, suck this pussy just like you should. My neck, my back, lick my pussy and my crack. My neck.
Now, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So Herc, I don't know if you remember when I was at James Memorial, I had this little incident with a certain person that was friends with LB.
Hmm.
I think you were great behind me, right?
I think so. Yeah.
You left in 02 or 01? Oh no, well you graduated 8th grade at 02 pretty much, right?
Yeah.
So you would have been a year behind me. So she would have been in your class.
Huh. Would you care to share the story?
I can. It's over with.
Did you lick her neck and her back?
No, it was actually the other way around. So
Oh, I think go ahead. I'm gonna shut up. I think I remember this story. Go ahead.
so yeah, so basically it was a dare that was out. You feel me? And this certain person said they was gonna do whatever, and ended up going to this part of the school that was like secluded after hours, and went in there and she did the deal. But the thing is, she told this 8th grader, and the 8th grader ended up telling a faculty member. That faculty member ended up sharing it with the principal, and the principal had me, her parents, my people. We had this whole little discussion. I couldn't call her on the phone, and I couldn't have contact with her and stuff like this. It was crazy, bro.
So did she lick your coochie and your crack?
It was just a one time. We was kids. You feel me? I'm gonna
The,
call it the
the
textbook.
answer is
No, it wasn't all of that because she didn't even know how to do all of that.
I'm finna say y'all mature fast in Illinois.
It was, yeah. You remember?
I
Hey,
remember.
PJ.
Oh,
Mm.
Hey,
I
it
remember.
was so bad that rumor had followed her to Proviso West High School.
I remember that.
Yeah,
And
that's
all
crazy.
the people who used to think I was a prude, this is why.
Yeah,
I
that
I
was
knew
hey,
because
remember.
hey,
everybody,
hey, and it was so crazy that year, G. I got suspended for 2 weeks behind that. But that was the same year my people had bought me the Dreamcast. That was 1999.
I remember that.
That was 1999, bro.
Oh,
Yeah, bro.
I remember that now.
Yeah,
Oh, snap.
that was crazy. That was crazy. 1999 was a crazy year.
It was.
Yeah.
Wow.
mm.
Yeah.
Poor girl.
Yeah.
Well, I
Shoot.
was gonna say that this was not a song that by this time, this was one of the songs that I had heard on the 106 in Park,
Oh
and
yeah.
I had my own access to music. So this was one of the I know not to play this around my mama. Likewise with the whole Trinas and all that.
Oh
I could
yeah.
I knew not to play that around my mama. But my mom and them didn't no, they definitely didn't put me on to nothing like this. A song that I was not supposed to be singing. And I was, and it's some things you don't realize until back in the day. It's a lot of songs from the early 90s that I probably shouldn't have been singing, but the I probably shouldn't have been singing anything by Silk, but I was. But I remember one time because I used to love music from being a little kid, and I used to just sing all the songs on the radio. And my mom was so tickled that she made me sing my new favorite song to my dad on his voicemail. And it was lay your head on my pillow and just relax. I thought it was about
Oh.
taking a nap. And my mom was so tickled that I would sing that song everywhere that I had to call my dad and sing it on the
That's
voice.
crazy. That is crazy. Hey, I ain't gonna lie. I had a lot of friends. They, you know, had family members that was either on dope or selling dope, so that was their musical choice. So it was just, and I ain't gonna lie. My grandfather, rest his soul, one of his favorite artists was Eminem.
Really?
Yeah, I'm talking about this man was born 1930 something, and when I used to play Eminem, he used to love it. When I tell you, he loved it. Like yeah, like I'm trying to man, it's crazy.
What's his favorite Eminem song?
I think the one of them for sure was Stan, and the other one was Guess Who's Back.
Oh my mom hated that song. I used to sing that and watch the video.
Yeah, because he used to like it because um it was a white guy that was rapping, and from him he come from he was born in the 40s, so for him seeing that was like mind blowing to him. You feel me?
Yeah.
It's a white dude that's taking over a craft that was predominantly ran by African Americans. So to see him go as far as he did, you feel me? That's crazy. You feel me?
We should make a segment about what is music your grandparents probably shouldn't have been
All
listening to.
right.
Because my grandmother was very churchy, very much into the church, very religious. But I remember she made me and my cousin write down the
I heard
lyrics.
you. All right. Yeah, that's man. When I tell you, my grandma is an evangelist. You heard me. So it was a lot of stuff where I couldn't listen to, but the rebellious side of me still win. You
But
know.
my grandmother made me and my cousin write down the lyrics because we were at a family reunion. She made us write down the lyrics. It's two songs actually that my grandmother used to like out of all the rap songs because she hated rap. But she made us write down the lyrics to DMX. Y'all gonna make me lose my mind. Up in here, up in here. And between that and my grandma liked Manny Fresh and Baby when they
Oh
came out
yeah.
straight up booze with a pimped out Gucci suit.
Hey, when I tell
Those are
That's
you,
two songs
wild.
I was able to sway my grandma.
That's wild.
real. But hey, let me get up out of here, man. It was nice getting on here, man. We gotta link up again. Hurt. Nice to meet you, Kay. This ain't
You
gonna be the
as well.
last time.
Well,
I've been
hold up. Well, hold up real quick. Cause
Hopefully your wife can come next time so I can have some backup.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
well, hold up real quick. We're gonna go to break and then we're gonna let people know where they can find you, and then we're gonna let y'all buff up out of here. So we're going to break. Stay tuned, listen to Herc's World. We'll be right back.
All right.
Welcome back to Herc's World. I am your girlfriend's favorite podcast host. And before we get up out of here, man, just want to thank y'all for coming to kick it with me, giving us your opinions, your insights. So this is the part of the show where I just kind of let my guests promote themselves or anything they got coming up. Anything you got coming up, anything you want to promote, let the people know what you got coming. Let them know where they can find you if you want to be found, and then we can go from there. So, Leo, you go first.
Um, King Leo Chicago on Instagram. Ramunda Music Group also on Instagram. I got a project called Cold Summer coming out. It's dropping probably the second week of September. Um, I'm a licensed security guard, so if you're in the Baton Rouge area, I offer personal protection. All right. Yeah, man. Facebook, you can find me Oscar King Leo Scott, or Facebook.com Leo the Beast THABEAST. And just stay tuned, man.
Man, I appreciate you, bro. If nothing else, the advice, the insight, the trip down memory lane was most definitely needed. And this can't be the last time you come kick it on Herc's World. You got to come back and we got to kick it again. Kay, what you got?
Most definitely, bro.
Well, you guys may already know me, but if not, I am KKAYE. And that is K from around the way on everything. Well, not everything, Instagram and TikTok. Those are the only two important ones. So you can find me K from around the way.
Now you gonna post more on TikTok, man, because you don't be posting videos.
I just started posting again. I'll be trying.
Okay.
I
Um,
also, if you are in the Central Florida region, or if you don't mind visiting the Central Florida region, I am actually in the car business now. So I have kind of put my own personal experience with getting bulljacked by guys out here selling cars to learn the business and also become a purchase advisor for those who are looking for someone that they can actually trust, someone who's going to give them some transparency, someone that's going to fit them with something that's going to match their needs, their wants, and their budgets. So if you are in the market of buying a vehicle and you're either in the Central Florida region or you plan on visiting, if you don't mind visiting the Central Florida region, I've had people come from Pennsylvania. I've actually had people come from Chicago. So just see me at Regal, home of the lifetime warranty. So
man, congrats. Um, Y'all see it above my head. Commercial spot started $25 if you want to promote an event. If you want to promote your small business, commercial spot started $25. Promote your business, promote your event, promote whatever you want. Promote your podcast, promote your whatever you got coming up. It starts $25 a month, $25 an episode. If we need to do more, we most definitely can. Um, as always, if you don't work, you don't eat. You got to crawl for you can walk. walk before you can run, and man, run before you can fly. I am your girlfriend's favorite podcast host, Big Hurt. Until the next time you see my face and hear my voice, man, stay up, stay masked up, stay protected. I holler at y'all, and I see y'all when I see y'all. Herc out.
Whoops.
You good? I was able to.